congratulations on nights of less sleep and
Yeah.
about 1,000 pounds on your chest every night.
Well, I have that anyway.
But like I told Matt last night, you know what's a great thing about your success? It's all yours.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the defeat too.
Yeah, and the defeat.
Nobody can take it away.
We're not gonna get defeated, though, are we?
That's right.
We don't get defeated.
You bet.
We just get up.
Well, and you know what? The best thing is I'm slowly sleeping in later and later.
Oh,
and
you
later.
can't do that.
It's. We're gonna talk about that.
I've
here
been
later.
up since 4:30.
Well, I got up at 4, but it's my weight, which you're gonna help me with. We're
That's
gonna have
right.
a little challenge.
Exactly.
We're gonna have a little challenge in a little bit.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to Between Two Cars. We've got our buddy Nate Reynolds here, and your two favorite car guys, Kyle Orr and my partner Matt Maxwell, the Walrus.
It's the Walrus.
The Walrus.
We're gonna change that though. It's
Now,
gonna be like a.
What's the story behind the walrus? I got to know.
All right. It's a funny story. So we go on to Color 10. They invite us on. We're on Color 10, and I didn't know we were going on Color 10. I thought we were just going there to talk about, the future and what's going on. And I wore this big brown sweater. And so it's so big that when I was, Kyle's a big man himself, right? You can tell in the stature. When I was sitting next to him, I'm like 5 times bigger than he is. I look like a walrus in this thing.
So you are the walrus.
I am the walrus.
There you go.
And it was like a hooded
Yeah.
sweatshirt, so it looked like he had no neck.
Right.
Hey, first, real quick, I want to thank y'all for letting me come on today, and I appreciate y'all inviting me, and I appreciate y'all having it here at Silverleaf. We're kind of really proud to show this place off, and
You're our first guest, buddy.
I want to be a co-host sometime.
Right, let's do it.
I
Yeah.
guess.
All right.
We've been
Throw the
brothers
guest
for
away.
15, 20 years. I can't be a guest. You're not
All
a
right.
guest in my house. You're
All
family.
right. All right. I hear you.
But
We're
no,
brother in
I really do
arms.
appreciate it. We live the opportunity to show this place off, and hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed the tour. And
Oh, it's impressive. I never, this first time I've been here, I think you too, right?
Yeah.
And,
I've just seen it from the outside. He wouldn't let me in before, but now that we're family, I can come in.
well, I didn't realize we had a running track around here.
there you go.
Oh my gosh.
We're thinking about putting one around the outside of that fence you saw out there through
Yeah.
the woods. Putting a little trail, get it lighted. And
Well, have me come out and test it. That way you know how small it needs to be.
hey, also congratulations on all your short success so far. I mean, you're
Yeah.
new to being entrepreneurs, but I mean, you've always been an entrepreneur, but now it's all for yourself.
Just in the.
I think that's an awesome deal.
Yeah, we were entrepreneurs in the mindset, and we actually, I think Matt and I both can agree that you probably inspired us to actually jump out and go out on our own.
Oh no, don't say that.
Yeah. It was the Antonio Brown piece. No.
No,
Well,
you didn't
actually-
make us
actually,
quit.
no.
That actually makes me feel pretty good because I know you're going to have massive success, and and anytime I could be a part of something, because I looked at the same way with y'all when I was at the dealership. I learned so much from you guys, and most of it was organization, because I'm a sales guy at heart.
Well, you
And
know what?
I like to sell, and you guys taught me how to slow down a little bit, get organized, and manage people.
Well, really, you need to tell everybody who you are and where you came from, how we met
that's-
each other and stuff, so we can.
We'll just we'll stick to business as far as where I'm from. We won't go to the childhood and all that yet. We'll save that for
Sure.
another day. But as far as the car business, I came out of the military in 2001, and I was Dad had a dealership here in Springfield, Missouri, and I asked, it's like, hey, I kind of need a job while I'm going to college. I just want to do something. I don't want to be in the car business. So I saw you work 30 hours a day, even though there's 24. There's 30 in the car business. And, I saw him go through it, and I'm like, I really don't want to go that route. I'm going to study international business, go back over to Japan where, I was in the military at. And he's like, yeah, just go do some parts. I'm like, okay. So I do parts for a little bit, and it's summer, and he kind of casually, Dad, Mike Reynolds, he plants that seed. Hey, why don't you just sell for summer? You're going to be off anyways. Why don't you make a little bit of money? Okay, I'll go sell.
That's the hook right there.
Yeah.
That's the hook. That's the old car business
I go
hook.
sell, and I love talking to people, obviously, and I go out my first day, and this ain't bragging rights or anything. It just shows you when you're green and you're fresh what you could do. I sold 2 my first day,
Right.
and I was super excited about. I'll never forget. It was an SLP Camaro, and it was a Cavalier, and they're like, oh man, you sold 2. You got the veterans there that sold 1. How'd you do it? And I'm like, I have no idea how I did it.
I said hi.
Yeah, I said hi. I followed the steps they told me to, because that's something we kind of get away from, when we get a little rich and good looking, smart.
Right.
And just got to go back to the basics. I sold 2 the first day. And of course, after that summer, made enough money to pay off a couple semesters of college, plus my GI Bill. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, this isn't too bad. Maybe I'll take a semester off and sell some more cars. So
Yeah.
Did that, and then I saw finance. I saw those guys in the fancy suits and getting to do all the nice cars. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try financing. He said, well, I mean, you got a couple more months as far as I want to see you hit these goals. And he hit me. I hit some goals that he challenged me with as far as selling cars and got into finance. And man, that's where I really
Rock and
took
roll,
off. You
yeah.
know, I'll never forget my first time in finance. And for people that don't know, I'm sure you purchased a vehicle. You go back in what we called the box in finance. The very first time I got in front of a customer, you know, we go to a school, we learn a script and how to talk to the customer. Blanked, totally locked up in front of these people. I looked at them and I was like deer in headlights. And I
Right.
looked at them, and luckily they were super nice, super humble people. And I said, you know what, folks? We're just going to get to know each other. They said, what? I
Right.
said, I am nervous as hell.
Right.
And where are y'all from? We started talking, ended up having a great deal, and I had a really great career. That's where I got to take off because, you know, we were selling 600-700 cars back
Right.
then. And I got to talk to about 110 customers a month.
That's in a month. He's talking
Yeah.
600-700 cars.
600-700 cars a month. And I was the fastest talker. So
Right.
I'd hit about 110 customers a month I get to talk to. And it's about 2 hours a piece. And so I pretty much compartmentalized the people. There's about 9 different people out there.
Right.
And you know who you got in front of you.
Right,
And you know how you just want to get to the objection, handle it, and move on and get quick. But that was my, and then 21 years later, I was in the car business. So, you know, the car business I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But the cars, to me, I like cars, but they were a means to make money. But I love people. And
Right.
my biggest success was just relating to people, being able to talk to them, not, you know, no BS. If I didn't know something, I'd go find out for them.
Right.
I'd let them know I didn't know it. I wouldn't, you know, don't lie to them. But I had a great experience in it, and I had a passion in real estate too, and kind of did that on the side. And I'm blessed to be able to do that now.
Yeah. So how'd you become to do the Silverleaf? How'd that happen?
Oh, well, that's a long story, but we got some time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as Silverleaf, well, first of all, I was super green into real estate, and it always looked, you know, you see all the guys that's, you know, they've got the nice suits too, and they're super successful, and they're selling these big properties. Like, man, that looks sexy. You know, I want to do that too, and
Right.
it ain't that easy.
Right.
So I went to a gentleman. I was like, you know, I want to flip houses. You know, I see the TV shows. It's easy to do. They buy it for 100,000, sell it for 1.2 million. I think I could do that. Cost to rehab 25 grand. How do
Right.
they do that in California? But they do it. And so I went to a buddy, and I knew he was flipping houses. I said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do one. I said, I'll put up all the money because I was single. I was putting back some money, and I was like, I'll put up all the money. You don't have to put in a dime, but you do all the rehab. But I am going to be a shadow to you. I'm going to bug the hell out of you. I'm going to call you at night at questions, but guess what? You don't have to put up any money. It's going to be an education for me. He looked at me kind of grinned. He goes, okay.
Right.
Very first house we went to, he took us, and I won't say any names. There's a gentleman in town that was kind of known as a slumlord, but they were getting rid of a lot of his properties. He called me up, said, hey, Nate, meet me at this address. So I go to this address, and I walk in, and it smelled worse than a dog kennel.
Oh wow.
And I mean, there's 2 inches of water in the basement. Place is trashed. And I look at my boy, and I'm like, we're buying this? And he goes, we're buying this. I was like, it's my money. We're buying this. He goes,
Right.
yeah. I said, let's go, baby. Let's do it. I trust you. He was a really good individual, and I trust the jockey. And I didn't know if he had a good horse, so we were going to
Right.
see. And we did that rehab, and it was quite the event. But we made, you know, a substantial amount of money on it. I was like, you know what, this is for me. But the key in anything in real estate, as far as with investing, is the partnership that I found. A lot of these guys can do it on their own, which God bless them. You know, there's some rock stars that really do it on their own. But
Right.
my biggest asset and one of my biggest strengths is finding good partners.
Right.
And man, I've been very blessed as far as with that, and I've gotten to get the education for them. And plus, I like it. You know, I
Right.
kind of geek out on real estate. I listen to podcasts. I read books. I bug people.
Right.
I'm into it. So that's kind of how I got into as far as a single family. And then, you know, I was talking to a few, you know, you get in these, as
Groups.
far as groups and what do they call that?
Kind of a clique. You start becoming a.
Well, and then you start meeting people that
Right, that are-
have bigger things.
Right.
You know, kind of like you start at a small dealership, you go to a big
Right.
dealership, and now you've got your own dealership.
Right.
Well, I started hanging around these gentlemen, and they were talking about how they used to have single family, and they moved up to multifamily. That way, they could get, I hate to use this word, but get all their headaches under one roof.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have some headaches, and it's kind of nice to have it in one area. I was like, you know, I've got some single family, and sold on my single family. And there was an opportunity as far as in Northwest Arkansas for a multifamily deal. And I really didn't know what I was doing, but it kind of fell into my lap. And I was like, I don't know if I could do this on my own. I knew a gentleman that here in town that owned a substantial amount of multifamily. I said, and he built it. He developed. He wasn't a value add guy, which value add, to y'all that don't know out there, is buying a place that's distressed and then fixing it up, raising rents, raising the value of the property.
Right.
Well, he built them from the ground up, waited 24 months, for them to get built and filled them, kind of like Silverleaf.
Right.
So I called him up and I said, hey, there's a couple extra acres on this property. Maybe you can build on it, but I need you to go with me and tell me if this is good property. We get down there and this thing looked like it had been built in the bottom of a ravine. I mean, every inch of water just flowed to it.
Oh, wow.
And even I knew, I was like, oh, this crawl space is not going to look good in this
Right.
place. So we go there and we end up passing. I kind of looked at the commercial agent. I was a little frustrated because the extra land that was on the property was kind of spaced out. And I was like, we can't build on this. He goes, I got another piece for you. I'm like, okay, let's go see it. We're here. He takes us to this place and I see it. Okay, we can build it. And, my buddy's eyes were lighting up because he loves to build. And he's like, we can build on this. And I took my father too, because he had recently got into real estate as far as down in Florida. He was doing some condos with some partners, more of a silent partner, but I knew that in order for me to maybe obtain some capital through him and borrow through him, that maybe we could do something in Fayetteville and bring him on as a partner.
Right.
So we go down there, and one of the plays as far as building new, as far as apartments and any big development, you try to get tax incentives.
Right.
So we went to the city. This is back when you could actually get it before, all the big booms. And this was not as far as a distressed area or anything like that. So we went to the city and we were trying to work and hassle to try to get this to pencil, because this land was owned by 5 different families. So it was going to be an absolute nightmare to get this 40 acres to build on. So we started doing it and we made that happen, but the city would not get us the tax incentives we needed to get the numbers to work as far as to making a multifamily property. And that's the key as far as it's when you buy, kind of like
Right.
your cars. It's when you
Sure.
buy is where you make your money.
Right.
And so serendipitously, we had this property come up here in Springfield, Missouri. My business partner called us and said, hey, we're hassling with this deal in Northwest Arkansas. We got something in our backyard that just came up. You want to do it? I'm like, let's do it. So, and then we built Silverleaf and started right before COVID. And I got a Harvard's education in developing now,
Right.
because of COVID and,
Sure.
how that all went. And, I know the questions to ask and, how to fill units and what you need to do as far as if you see this place. And I'm very proud of this place, so I don't mind talking about it. It
Sure.
is a super nice place.
Shoot,
and
I'm proud of it.
I make sure
I'm thinking
that
about moving in.
it's a family type atmosphere and people feel comfortable, they feel safe, and but we do ask a premium rent as well, but we also provide a great
You can't
service.
beat the
If
the
Kelsey
location.
kicks me out, I'm coming here.
Yeah.
I've told my wife, like, hey, we got pickleball, we got pool, we got it's great. But and this is the thing too, is like, where's the next one? I want to
Right.
do another. And we
Right.
did do another one. We partnered with one in Northwest Arkansas, and we're looking to do another. But
Now, is this considered Springfield or Battlefield?
it's
You're right on the
actually
edge,
it
right?
is Springfield. We're in the county, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Well, I would tell anybody out there looking for a nice environment. I mean, you're basically in your own little city here, and we'll take Maxwell for example because he's on his weight loss challenge here.
Yeah, it
You
started.
got plenty of walking
today.
space around this thing, so. I would tell you to come out here and visit Silverleaf, look at it, and then anybody in the market that needs something like that, get a
Well,
hold
it's
of
got
me.
everything. It's got your business center. It's got places you can go to take your family if you want to have a gathering or something like that. It's private, and it's got
an Amazon room.
it's got an Amazon room, which I know my wife would probably invest in that greatly.
My wife would fill it just by her own.
We'd be down there picking up box. I mean, now I'm gonna have to hire a guy just to bring the boxes up.
Yeah, we started sending our
So-
Amazon guy Christmas cards.
You have to.
Our
Or-
Amazon guy
or your
gives my-
post office person.
Hey, our
Yeah.
Amazon guy gives my dog biscuits. I'm like, what? It's a watchdog.
Hey,
What kind
they're
of
at-
watchdog are
They're
you?
at your house almost as much as you are, especially in the car
Right.
business.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Miley, how you doing? Oh, or Mia, how you doing?
Well,
But,
and speaking of the car business and real estate, man, they correlate so much together because, like, everything, if you think about it, everything is real estate. You know,
Right.
the building that you're in is real estate. It's just some produce income and some don't. And I'll even argue that all of them produce income. Even your home produces income. It's just
Sure.
not for you. You're producing income for the bank, or you're
Sure.
producing income for the government for your taxes, or
But
or
it's-
whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because how I got in the car business was from real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I had my real estate license, and I don't know if you remember when they were building the body shop in B&W over at the other store.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually I listed that guy's house. He had a house in Ravenwood South, and then he introduced me a guy in the car business, and boom, here I was 20 years old, so I really wasn't ready for the real estate business at 20. I didn't understand. I loved listing. I'd go in and close and list a place, but after that, I'm like, okay, they're going to sell. What do you do then? They don't teach you all that, right? You got to, back then you didn't have the.
Hey, Bob, you run to your boss. Hey, they said yes.
Yeah. What
What do I do now?
What do you do now? But I tell you what correlates is the close. I mean, that's what we love. But when you help somebody and they say, "Hey, thank you," yes, you know what? And I think you got the same feeling in real estate as you do in the car business. It's and helping people is the biggest thing in both areas.
Very, very similar. And, I'll key in on one little aspect of what Nate was talking about. He mentioned having good partners behind him and stuff. Man, I'm convinced there's some savages out there that can go out and just kill it on their own. But I'm going to tell you, I'm thankful for just the kind of group of people that I surround myself with every day.
Proximity. That's
yep.
the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Proximity.
You learn there's a lot of great people in the Springfield, South Missouri area to learn how to manage money. I mean, if you want to learn how to do it and go after it, you've got people around
You
this
just gotta
area
be.
to
You
do
gotta
it.
be humble.
Yes.
You gotta stay humble. That's the
You
biggest.
gotta you gotta know what you don't know, and you gotta know your strengths. And don't try to do everything.
I was speaking of that. We had a phone call last night from a charity here in town that just said, and we just started doing all this podcast, and we're learning, right? You know it probably better than what we do and stuff. But we're doing some special things with social media and stuff. And they called us up and says, "How are you doing that?" I'm like, "I don't know. We're just doing it."
Just doing it, and that's what it's about. It's super casual, and that's
Right.
what I like. I mean, look at Joe Rogan's success.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I mean, that guy could, tell me to drink paint thinner, and I probably would,
He's
because I
probably
think it's going to make me
the
last
biggest
long.
podcaster in the world.
Well,
isn't
he is, and he was one of the. But he's casual. He brings
Yeah.
his friends on. He's,
Yeah.
That's what people like, is stuff that's not super curated. And one thing I was thinking about last night, knowing I was coming on this podcast, is that I think this right here is the future of all retail. I think every retail should have something like this. First of all, what we spent in advertising.
Oh.
Millions every year. And this is pennies on the dollar, and plus it's more transparent. You're talking to people that actually care about your topic.
Right.
And, I had somebody ask me about social media the other day about influencers. They're like, why do people pay these influencers to push their product? I said, imagine like this. And I think about the car business. I said, imagine you've got a car lot and all you do is sell red trucks. And you've got somebody on Instagram and they've got a following of 200,000 people and all they like is red trucks. Do you want to advertise to them?
Right.
Or do you want to do a shotgun effect where you put it on
Right.
cable network and you don't even know who likes your product?
Right.
You're going to go to that. And it's a great, as far as it's going to be really good for retail. And I think these podcasts are going to be the future.
Yeah.
Well, these influencers, we on our walk, we had talked about some stuff, but these influencers, they're like a surrogacy for your business, right? They're the ones out there kind of carrying around this product, and then they push it out,
Oh yeah. Good
to
and bad.
to good
Right.
and bad. And people don't want to just go out and spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on products without trying it out. Everybody wants the product. They need somebody to go out and do that. So I like the influencers personally.
Well, and one thing I was going to say to y'all,
Kind of.
nope. I mean, 99% of people don't know how big your lot is. You're going to have
No.
people come calling from California going, I don't know anybody in Springfield, but I saw your podcast or I saw your TikTok. At least you're a face that I know. At least it's somebody,
Right.
instead of just walking in cold to a dealership and not knowing you're talking to, which there's still a space for that. I think dealerships are great. I think that we have a lot, us three especially, have a lot to thank, Berkshire Hathaway for, and big dealerships. As
100%.
far as,
Heck yeah.
I mean, we owe our careers to them.
Right.
But there's also a place for that small hometown. It's harder to scale, but I think that in the future that these type of things, you guys are going to be hyper successful doing things like this.
Well, I think people, In my opinion, COVID kind of taught us a couple things, right? One, okay, hey, it was all great in the beginning where you're all kind of not, you're out of the, they're shutting things down. You're like, okay, I got to figure
That was
things
a
out.
that was a fun time to be in business. So
Right, yeah, 100%. And
we
then
got to do stuff we never used to
100%.
wash cars. And,
well,
I
then
mean,
you figure
like
out,
a long time
then,
ago.
then the customers figured out, you know what, I actually like being around people, but they don't necessarily want to go through all that other stuff. It changed a lot of businesses. It changed the car business, I think, is one of them. You got to be faster and you got to be, know what you're doing faster and quicker. And I think the real estate business is probably the same way.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, man, I know some rock stars at the real estate business. It's just they do a real and most of them. There's not one real estate person that I know that's hyper successful that's not really good at doing things like
Yeah.
this. They're because you're able to scale that way.
yeah.
Able to really expand yourself as far as be bigger than who you are. Because like I just said, they don't know if you have a small lot. They don't know if you have a big lot. They just know that you have nice cars, you're good people, and they trust you. And if you don't have it, you'll find it for them.
Right. So let's talk more about Silverleaf. So this is what, your 5th year here?
Well, it's not as
Since
far
you
as
started?
our occupancy permit. We've only been on the second building right at about a year, a little less than a year.
So what's your vision around Springfield with stuff like this? Are you wanting to branch more out? Or
I always want to do more,
Right.
and I love it. I love people. I love partnerships. It's just in this business, and anybody that does real estate at this scale, it's capital. It's a
Yeah.
lot of money to do projects like this, and access to capital, and the cost to build. I mean, where before, you kind of had a set price, what you were going to buy lumber for. Stuff is so volatile now that it makes it tough to really project what you're going to build a house for, build an
Right.
apartment building for. I mean, used to back in the day, your wife say, I want to build a house. Okay, let's build a house. In your mind, any savvy guy that's done it before, add 20% to whatever
Right.
that builder's saying
Sure.
because she's going to want the nicer doorknob. She's going to want the nicer this. You're going to want the nicer this and that. So add about 20%. Now, I mean, it fluctuates so much to where you really got to be on your game. So as far as my vision in Springfield, I would love to do more in Springfield. It's just, the world's flat now because of
Right.
the internet. So
Right.
I'll do business anywhere. We're doing some stuff in Northwest Arkansas I really like, just because of Walmart. And when you're taking a risk at that scale, you kind of want to be at a place where there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening in Springfield too. It's just me personally haven't had as many opportunities come to me in Springfield as I have for some reason in Northwest Arkansas.
Right.
It'll come around.
Yeah.
So that deal you're doing in Arkansas, so is that going to be scaled more towards like Walmart executives, or is it going to be an everybody thing, or
No,
college
it's,
kids?
the one that's there now it's an everybody thing. I mean, it's market rate is what we call it. Market rate is anything that's not 55 and under. So I mean, or nursing facility,
Right.
anything like that. But no, we're market rate. It's a beautiful facility as far as there, and we're looking to expand a little bit more there. I'll speak on another podcast. I can't really speak of it right now, and actually we're going to do something else a little out of my comfort zone. A little commercial, maybe somewhere around this area as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for land and stuff, are you looking, like this has got, you're right next to the highway, which is growing, and and it's growing out this way, period. Because
Yes.
Amazon's probably, how far is Amazon
Oh,
from here?
you're
3
yeah,
miles
if
down,
if
right?
that.
So
yeah, it's
this
5
place
minutes
is
And that's
drive.
why
exploding.
you got Republic booming so much. You've
Right.
got a lot of apartments getting built there. But the west side of town, I mean, if anybody knows east side of town, man, it's expensive to build over there
Yeah.
because it's a nice area. People want to be there. They love Rogersville. They love East Springfield.
Right.
So I mean, there's guys that do it, and as long as they get it the right price and the right time, they can build over there. But I like this side of town because there's room for growth, and like you just said, you got Amazon right there. You got Convoy of Hope. The reason I really like this place, this location too, is what I was saying is you're on a highway straight to hospitals.
Right.
If there's any emergencies,
It's like you're there.
you're not hitting 15 traffic lights. I mean, it's
Yeah.
as far as living, it's a good place to live.
So
I'd like to see something like this in Nixa, mainly so I can go and
Well,
use the
Nixa's
golf
on Massey
simulator every
Road,
day.
North Massey Road, right
Yeah.
around 420,
Yeah,
like right next
like
door.
421 Massey
You're
Road.
right.
With this going through at Kansas, see the problem with Nixa I had before. I used to live in Nixa. Is actually where I built my first house. I was 23 years old on my VA loan, and it's just you got 15 stoplights to get there. And I know
Yeah,
we're
on
not in
Campbell.
Kansas City where they're used to driving 45 minutes to work. It should
Right.
take 30 minutes to get to work from Nixa to reliable Chevrolet.
Right. No, it should.
It takes me about 6 minutes to get to work.
Well, you were in Nixa.
Yeah, you can walk to work.
And I built a house in Nixa too, so I don't know what Nate's talking about. But no, I think he needs to build a golf simulator or something where they
Well,
need
like
to
I
do
said, I think
something with
you're-
that Bears building.
I think you're going to see more going in because the Kansas Expressway there that goes right through.
Well,
It's so
you're
convenient.
you guys are affiliated with Oak Star Bank. They're building
Oh,
a
yeah.
new facility out there too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, Oakstar's been a real blessing for us.
yeah, so and I think that's the biggest building in Nixa right now, wouldn't it? I mean, it's
Oh, it's-
phenomenal.
It's beautiful too.
Yeah, that's a Rita Barrett design,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
She's phenomenal.
She did a great job.
She worked on this
designed this
building too.
Did she?
Yeah, she did our design on this
She-
build. She does an awesome job.
She's a terrific lady. I'd love meeting her. She was a firecracker.
Yeah.
She's funny.
She's a great entrepreneur.
Yeah, 100%. I'd love to sit in a room with her and just kind of watch what she does.
She'd be good on a podcast.
100%.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We'd have to.
There's
we'd
no
need your help
bull
with that
with
one.
that one.
Get about 20 in
But
before you get.
her
There's
and
no
your
bull
dad,
with
the
that
same
one. Her and
one.
Dad, there
That
you
would be a
go.
great one.
There
That would
you
be a
go.
great one. We'll have to
She's
do
a
that.
straight shooter, man. But I'll tell you what, I have a feeling she's like one of those people that once she likes you, she likes
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Well,
you
that
know.
story, I'll
Well,
tell a quick story
People
about
like people that'll just be transparent with them. Once the problem is like, and we knew this, you could do 100 things right, and you get a little bit of pressure on you, and you lie to somebody. That's all they're going to remember. You know,
Well,
it sucks.
when we went over to, you helped us, she wanted to sell a car, right? And you helped us with that. And we went over to her office and she's like, hey, I'm trying to buy a car over at the Audi store. Do you guys know anybody? Well, that's where we started from. Of course, we know somebody. We think you can help me over there. So I'm like, yeah. Well, most people, okay, well, get back with me. Not her. She throws the phone down and says, well, go call her.
She
Oh,
she
yeah.
looked
Right on
at
the
she looked at a big walrus right in his eyes and said, "Okay, do it." And I'm
Right.
like, I just looked at him. I'm like,
Here we go.
Well, that's the business you're in now.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it worked. We helped her. I think we got a few $1,000 off.
That's
but-
how you're going to be
Yeah,
successful.
yeah. So, but what a great lady. And then we sat down there. The next time we come visit her, she's giving us hugs and
Yeah.
and talking about his adopted baby and stuff.
and
And
she's a very, very. I mean, she's got some stories, man. I'm telling you, she's
There's some great entrepreneurs in this time.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, my father's. He's one of
He's
them. You
one
need
of
to
them.
have him. He's
I'd
a
love to
hoot.
have
we're gonna get your.
You'll
dad
probably
on.
have a lot more editing to do.
That's all right. We'll just,
We don't censor.
Hey, yeah, I do. I want to see it before you post. Not for me, for Dad. I
Right.
want-
yeah, we will.
No, but seriously, I think Springfield's got a lot of room for growth. I'm excited about it. It's just time and money. You know, it takes a lot of time to build these type of things.
But you know what? I was thinking about this. You know, Springfield's kind of the third largest city in Missouri, right? But it's not really. It's not. It's a city, but we call it. You said a minute ago, town. It's kind of got that town feeling where everybody helps everybody. I mean, we're all running the same circles. I mean,
Every time you go to dinner, you know
you
somebody.
know somebody, and they're out. And when they find that you're doing something, hey, what do you need from me to help you? Which you won't get those in those big cities as much. I mean,
or
it's-
just hello.
yeah. It's
You don't.
just
And sometimes you don't want anything. So I call you all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
just a
just
chat.
That's what I think. Why
When it's running,
when I'm
Yeah, I do that when I'm running.
when he's
I
running,
call him
he's
shirtless Nate down Millwood. So you ever see a guy run through Millwood? That's Nate.
I do make a lot of phone calls when I'm running.
Nate's running. You can't tell. You just have to know him to know that he's running when he's talking to you on the phone because he's not breathing hard or anything. He's just a natural athlete, I guess.
Nate, what are you doing? Well, I'm on mile 100 for the day.
That's my me time.
Right.
You know, I can
You run like 10 miles a day, don't you? Something like that.
usually seven
Seven.
days. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
used to do that.
Just 7.
Believe that I did. 7 in high school.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. It's kind of funny. So we had a pretty good basketball team our senior year, and we're like, okay, we're not going to play football. A lot of us are going to play, get in shape for basketball and then practice and stuff. So we decided to go cross country. Well, I don't like running. I mean, I do, but I don't. Well, we ended up going to state and cross country because the guy that we ran with was the best runner in the state. He takes the whole team. So I'm like going, what do you mean we went to state? We got to run at Columbia, Missouri. So we go to Columbia, Missouri. We have to run this hardest. I'm like ducking down. I'm the last guy, right? I'm trying to figure out. I'm just going to finish. How am I going to finish this race, right? But anyway, we end up winning state.
Hey, it's the same
Running.
distance you just did.
I understand that, but I was about 200 pounds lighter than I am right now, which I got to get back down to. So but anyway, so what were we talking about? Talking about me exercising, right? Ain't Nate lost his He lost his mic. Lost his mic.
So, man,
We got to have the outtakes in this bad boy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'll tell you one of my I think what respects or my big respect for Nate is, man, this guy when he sets a goal,
Oh,
he goes after it, and he's he gives me father inspirations he wants me
Me?
in my yeah.
My young,
Yeah,
I think we're more brothers. Honestly, I think we're all more brothers because, I mean, go ahead. I apologize.
oh, no problem. I mean, so everybody knows now that's watched the podcast that my wife and I had adopted a baby. He was actually one of the guys that helped me get her into the swim lessons, which I absolutely think is a wonderful thing. Any child should go to that. But few months in, he's like, "Hey, you should have another one."
Yeah.
Right?
Dude.
I'm like, "Man, I'm just trying to get my
least
feet
Kids,
underneath."
you talk about, and me being transparent, you talk about one of the most selfish guys on earth through his 20s and halfway through his 30s, and then having a kid, it'll humble you real quick. It's one of the, I mean, dude, it was awesome.
you guys are quite a bit younger than me, and my kids are in their 20s. Wait till you guys get through your teens.
If I was in my
You're not
20s
gonna-
feeling like I did now and knowing what I did now, I'd have about 10 kids, but I'm
Yeah.
too old to have 10 kids.
Yeah, I think at 40 I'm gonna max myself out at the 2. I'm just now getting used to how the sleeping arrangements and
Yeah.
things work, and
Well, we both struggled for having kids. I mean, it took me.
It changes you.
Oh yeah, it took me 5-6 years to have Luca, and then another 5 to
Yeah.
have I've got a 3.5-month-old now, and yeah,
Isn't it funny? I was telling everybody when I said, you don't realize men, women are pregnant and they feel the baby and they have that sense of, okay, I'm already in motherhood. But your first child, you don't really feel it until, boom, you get to hold it for the first time. And
Oh, yeah.
then all of a sudden it hits us like it hits them. You know what I'm saying?
and then they turn 6. You kick you. They love you 1 second, the next second you're the worst
Yeah.
person on earth.
I don't know. I think Willow's she's got the attitude of a 16-year-old
She's a
woman
firecracker.
right now.
She
She's a
cracks me up.
firecracker.
It's called payback for what
Oh, yeah.
we did,
She's
right?
a psych.
Great, excellent. My wife said it best the other night when we were talking. She said she was an excellent baby.
It goes in waves, bro.
Right.
It does. It goes in waves. You'll 1 second. You just gotta be patient, and we're not always patient, but sometimes you just gotta be
Take
patient.
it.
Tell you,
stride.
I probably am not going to get Dad of the Year for this, but I take her to daycare in the morning, and I'm kind of like, if a kid wants to eat, I let them eat. I kind of monitor what they
I should have been your baby.
what they eat. Yeah, but she's not a bad eater, but she wants things at weird times. Like sometimes I give her Funyuns in the morning instead of cereal.
Oh,
right?
that's all kids do.
Same bad nutrition, right? So we're on a Dunkaroo kick right now. Me not thinking anything. I give her Dunkaroos, set her in her car seat. We're driving to daycare. I get there. She's a freaking disaster. You know the icing that comes in
Oh, yeah.
Dunkaroos? She literally was sitting back. I thought she was being pretty quiet on the ride there, right? And wasn't telling me that I had to turn Baby Shark on and all this. She painted herself in icing.
Oh.
Painted herself in
Hey,
icing. So
I'd have still
ran-
dropped my son off. Said you're gonna look like this all day, but
100%.
I
Oh,
ran
man.
into those people and said, "Hey, you guys got extra clothes here for her? If not, I'm gonna have to run back because she ain't gonna make it all day."
that's one thing about kids is say goodbye to a clean car.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
100%.
it's wild.
I
but-
remember McKinsey. It was the first time I had McKinsey on my own. I had a Toyota Tundra extended cab limited pickup truck, and we lived in Republic at the time. And Carrie's like, "Hey, you got to go up to the store and get diapers." And I go, "Okay, but I've got to go somewhere, so you got to take McKinsey." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's my, it's just first time, right? And the first time you're like going, "Okay," so I get in the car seat and stuff, and Carrie fed her right, like maybe 20 minutes before we go, right? Well, she ends up going to the bathroom on our way. We're just
Blowout?
a blowout, all up her back,
Oh.
all of the car seat. I'm pulled over. I'm in panic mode, calling Carrie. What do I do? She goes, "Figure it out. You're a freaking 30-year-old man." I go, "I'm so over here for 30 minutes changing a diaper, trying to, wipe everything down and stuff
Car,
like that.
did you go to the car wash?
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, I'm over there sitting trying. Dude, I'm like going on. I'm in pure panic mode. But those are precious moments. You know, those are funny things.
Those
you
are
talk
teachable.
About.
Those are teachable moments.
100%.
See that blowout term that he's talking about? When you're in the car business, that means a complete different thing. And I got to learn what a blowout was just being a new dad, you know?
And that's the thing about the car business or business in general is, coming through that door, you almost need that 15, 20-minute drive to where you could turn that off. Because you don't, you got that back in the day, you had that salesman you had to deal with all the time. You could get a little tuned up on, but you get home and your kids, man, they just want to see it.
Yeah, you got to learn how to turn it off.
But I mean, hell, I'm guilty of it. I haven't,
it's that's the good and bad part about the car business, I think, or anything really. When you love something, right, so much like real estate, even we can work our own hours right now, whatever we want to do, right? Real estate, same thing, but really you're working 24/7.
How big you want to get?
Right. So, but it's not the same type of pressure when you're working at a store where you got to clock in at 8:00 and you got to clock in at 9:00.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Nate, did you make your 75,000 phone calls and emails and texts today?
You will.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
Never.
Right. I mean, you still make the phone calls and stuff, but you're not putting.
You know what I told people is, you do. I'll tell you the exact thing I said. I said, you don't retire. You retire from doing stuff you don't want to do, but when you're on an entrepreneur or working on your own, if you have to, let me repeat that. If you do have to do something, I'm gonna need you to edit this out.
It's raw, dog.
Actually,
it's all raw.
Actually, play this. This is like a Bush moment. Right. Fool me once. Yeah. You fool me, won't fooled again.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw a shoe.
No,
at
anyways,
you.
what I told people is like, you kind of retire from doing stuff you don't want to do, and if you don't want to do it, it's for yourself.
Right.
Or your family, or your friends, or customers that you really care about, and they care about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest difference is kind of keying off of what both of you guys say. When you're doing it on your own accord, I guess, or you're trying to build something, it doesn't seem like you're working, right?
Right.
You're enjoying getting to see the success, like just what little remodeling we did at our building, right? We created a space that makes us happy when we walk through the door, versus walking into somebody else's space.
We found out that I have no idea about construction.
Yeah.
I carried a lot of stuff though. Hey, what do you guys need?
See, I did that.
I
did that around the house when I left the dealership.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, honey, can you take about 30 days to do? I was like, did my marriage license come with a construction license? Because I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Right.
But one thing I was going to say for you guys is, the one thing I've found is in the car business, you find time, you find yourself doing a lot of busy work that's not productive.
Right.
And so when we left the car business at 21 years, you got to stop yourself from just being busy.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I got to work 14 hours a day. No, you can go hang out with your kid.
Right.
You can go have a good, it's not
a bad.
You
can leave and go do this and go do that.
It's not a bad thing. If you don't have anything going on at that moment, you don't need to fill a void with busy work that doesn't, help you obtain your goal.
Well, it's kind of like I love cars, right? I just like different cars and different makes. I like looking at different things, and I like, hey. So for me, when I
like Jeep Wranglers, right?
Like the Jeep Wrangler, that's just that's one of my fantasies for about a week.
It wasn't even a Lambo.
Huh? I can't fit in the damn thing.
Oh, that's
okay.
My apologies.
I mean, I got to be realistic. You're not putting me in a Lotus, right?
We can help you with the weight loss.
You know what? When I say Lambo, I have no desire either. I like I was telling him earlier, I like the old 90s, old 90s Land Rovers or Land Cruiser, the FJ60 Land Cruisers, and I like that.
I tell you
what
we need to do for a podcast one day is we'll dress up like Miami Vice. I'll be Don Johnson, all fit and stuff.
You can look like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
We'll push that one out to episode
76.
Yeah, get a following first.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, so my downtime is I pop up and start shopping cars, and that's what's kind of neat in the car business, and probably the same thing in real estate when you're building something like this. You're building something like, what do people like? It's not like you don't buy a car what you like. Okay, if I want to sell this or fill this occupancy, what amenities can I put in here to make a difference? And it's the little things like the Amazon room that you have here. It's the locker room that you have to put that you can rent out for your storage space. I mean, I didn't even know that even
And
existed.
that's one space where data comes in
Right.
handy, because we have emotions. Man, that's an ugly, Nissan Rogue.
Right.
But then you look at the data and, oh my gosh, it's a 10-day,
100
it's
it's
a 10-day
people
market.
just bought.
It
It's
sells
a
for- yeah.
it's a 10-day market turn. You're like,
Right.
I guess I'm buying 20 of
Right,
those.
100%. And it's just that's what's fun for me. And then you watch somebody come in, you take this car, right? You fix it, do what you need to make sure it's sellable, and then you watch somebody come in and they've got smiles on, grin. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll take it. And then all of a sudden, you just made somebody happy. That's what's neat about it.
Man, I'll tell you, just walking in here too, just right through the front door.
Oh,
The
I
way
was
they
wow.
set up the entrance, you got a nice little common area in there with. I mean,
first
that's a
off-
full kitchen.
Well,
right?
we were pretty blessed. Like I said, we hired one of Hammond's ex-interior decorators, and I let her. She would send me the list of what she think we want to have. Because if you ever run into interior decorators and architects, and some of them are savvy because some of them don't own multifamily, but some of them that's all they do. They don't have a budget, and any of these deals they have to pencil. So all this stuff that you see that she sent to me, I got online. I shopped 20 different places. And I got the best price because I wanted this place to look the best, but
Right.
we had to be able to
You
afford
budget.
it. It's got to make sense.
Well, the other thing that's neat is how much are you here?
Oh, I'm here.
How about you and your dad?
Dad's Norm here.
Okay, so how many owners hang out? I mean, you're not. You
Oh,
don't
it's a
hang out-
family. It's a family
you don't
atmosphere. I
hang out,
know a
you're
lot of
working,
the.
right. You're not working, but it's like
Yeah.
your second home, and you're treating these people like, hey, you're a guest, and hey, this is my community for you.
But that's the key is you have to
Right.
enjoy it.
Right.
And sometimes when you get burnt out and stuff or wherever you're at, you come in grumpy. The customer can see that. They've never met you before. It's not
Right.
their fault.
Right.
So if you truly find something you enjoy, it's going to reflect.
It's not work.
Yeah.
It's
That's the cliche. It's not work, but it's also going to reflect off you.
Right.
And
At the parlor, we don't let you come in with a bad attitude or an ego. It's not accepted. You're not welcome with bad attitudes and
Yeah.
egos.
you're
there.
allowed to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Just go outside, take a breather. And,
That's why we got a
Yeah.
park out back. You can go
Yeah.
take a walk or play some
I haven't-
basketball.
Yeah, I haven't got around that park yet. I'm working on that. Thanks, Kyle.
hey, I heard you were talking about you had a happy customer yesterday.
Yeah. This was a neat deal. So we had a customer bought a Mazda 3 or put a deposit down on a Mazda 3, and we're in the beginning stages of the dealership, right? So what a lot of people don't understand on the independence, it's harder for you to get lenders and floor plan and people to just to start off with you because you're independent, right? Than it is a manufacturer. So we had a local bank that we use, and they didn't like the loan for them,
The terms.
the
yeah.
terms. So we sent them to another bank, and they got approved there, but they couldn't come back up for another week. Well, we're in the process of signing another bank that is a national bank. So we waited for a little bit, got signed up with them, and then we submitted them, got them approved, got better terms, sent all the paperwork to them electronically, and delivered the car to them within 2 hours. They live like 2-3 hours away,
Um,
and
that was Kern Transportation
Kern
that did that last
Transportation.
night.
but anyway, but that's where, and she was.
Did you yell at them?
No,
Where's your voice?
I've got a cold. I've got a cold.
Did you berate these people?
He's nervous about his massage this weekend. Is
There
what
you
it
go.
is.
Yeah, I
Well,
get my first massage.
Man, you're getting all fancy.
I know.
What is going on
It's
here?
because
Hey, don't get rich and good looking.
No, it's because the walrus needs to get some hair off his back.
Don't get rich and good looking. Leaves the dealership. He's getting massages.
I'm getting
What in the
massages. I'm
world?
coming in late.
Oh yeah, he comes in late. We get about 3 good hours out of him.
But that's why he's got a
day.
good partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is health wise, and Nate knows this because he sat next to me for 2-3 hours or
Yeah.
2-3 years. I've gone down south a little bit, and we got to work on that. So
We're working on it. We ain't got it. We're doing it.
Well, you'll get it. And that's the beauty part I was telling you about earlier when we were walking walking the complex. It's a big complex. It's fixable.
it is. It's a mindset, like you said.
I'm gonna put
He
you in
used, to, he
there.
used to feed me. So he'd sit next to me, right? And just all day long. What do you eat there? Here's some nuts.
You know where I learned that?
Where?
My wife. She does that to me.
He's like, what are you eating? And then he made a funny meme. It was funny, but it was me holding all these cheeseburgers. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I holding all these cheeseburgers 'cause I like to eat, right? But what he was doing is
We got him working out.
Yeah, he got me working out. And, well, he had the trainer show up. we go to a what was that function we went to? Some charity thing,
Mhm.
and we go over and he goes, Maxwell bid on this, his MTS training,
Yep.
and I've been on it, and I won it, right? So they're calling me. He's trying to get him to call me to call, set up an appointment. I wouldn't do it. So he has the guy show up at work. The guy's just
He is a rock star.
Brian. He's a rock star. He's a cool dude, and he just said, "You're coming to the gym." I'm like, "Okay, yes, sir. I'll be there tomorrow." So the first day I go in, I'm working out, right? The second day I couldn't walk. I walk in there and they're like, "Yeah, you're not working out today. We're just going to stretch you." But I got in shape. I did that,
So
But
that's a
what
thing,
that's
right?
what was cool about it. We cared about each other.
yeah.
You know.
So I've caught a cold right now, but
No, he's down a few pounds, but I think here's the deal: like you support if you get yourself a good circle band, they're gonna push you, and he's got good guys around
Yeah,
him. I know there's not a person that he's around every day that isn't pushing or talking about his diet, and I know it's a joke on the podcasts and stuff like that. We're truly concerned about him, and
we're going to come up with
Oh,
a plan.
if we didn't care,
Yeah, I know. We're gonna come up to a deal. We got to come up with a challenge or some type of a deal and come up.
Well,
and have
here's
some fun
here's
with
the key of what you got to do, and what I've found for myself is you got to find something that you like. You have to like it. You have to enjoy it. My counterpart I had there in Mercedes that I would tell him all the time is, you got to find something you like. Otherwise, it's either two things. You got to find something you like, or you're super disciplined. And I wasn't super disciplined, so I had to find something I really liked. And I liked going to the gym, and I found a little CrossFit gym that I really enjoyed. Had a good core group of people. Sold a lot of cars out of
Right.
there, and I like to run. So I'll be straight up with a lot of people. My diet is not the best. I don't drink sodas. I fast, but I love my Andes. I love my Andes. And
Well, you got me-
they've got one right by my son's school. Is an issue.
Yeah.
But-
You got me into MTS, and Paul and Andy over there,
yeah.
phenomenal people. And I did that 5 days a week for 5 years.
Mhm.
It was the best shape I was ever in. And when COVID hit, I caught COVID 4 times. And I've never been I've struggled to get back into that groove because I'm struggling with breathing and stuff. And I don't know what happened. They've tested me and stuff, and those guys know it. I'm going to go back to the gym, but I was up at 4:30 in the morning doing that before work.
Oh yeah.
And that's hard to do.
That's where you really got to find something you enjoy if you're getting up at
right.
4:30.
Well, the people there were great
Yeah.
too. You're working out with people that they become friends, and we sold cars to them too.
In college, I found stuff I enjoyed, and I was going to bed at 4 a.m.
Well,
So-
Steve Jobs got that. He has that speech that he.
You're bad. You're a bad boy.
Have you ever seen that Steve Jobs speech where he talks about, you really got to find something you like, because when it comes time to quit, if you don't like it, you're going to quit
Yeah.
pretty quick. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not quoting him directly, but that was his deal, is you really have to find something you like. Because I get guys all the time come to me and go, "Hey, let's do a triathlon." Like, no. They're like, "Well, we see you run all the time. You run 26 miles. You run, this many miles." I'm like, I have no inkling to want to ride a bike for 110 miles. The reason being, I could do it just to say I did it, but it's something that anybody that works out at that level is going to want to quit at some point. And if I'm going to want to quit on a bike, I would do it pretty quick. I would rather go run Leadville 100 miles, and knowing in my mind that I like to run and I'm less likely to quit than go out for a triathlon, because it's not something I enjoy.
Well, our motivation was we did my wife and I were going to the gym, and we wanted to do a warrior dash.
Mhm.
And so we talked to the guys in the gym, and we're like, yeah, you know what? Let's train for that. We'll get a bunch of people to go. It was in Tulsa.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
And they're fun.
And it was phenomenal.
They make them fun.
I didn't know I had to jump in the middle of a cow pasture lake where
We call those ponds in Missouri.
whatever
Cow pasture lake.
whatever the hell it was.
Did you get shocked at the end? Did they still have the electric?
They get electric shock.
Yeah.
You're running over fire. I mean, I'm in this foxhole. Remember boot camp, right? So I get up too early and knock myself out. I hit my head on the damn thing.
I got
People
the weirdest vision in my head
Huh?
right now. I have the weirdest vision of you doing this in my
Oh,
head
yeah.
right now.
I'm over there. I was killing it, going up and down it was 3.5 miles. It took me 17 hours. No, I'm just kidding. I got done. But when you get done, you're just like, holy crap, I did that. We just did this thing. And I stayed back.
What an accomplishment, though, right? Probably felt really good to
Well,
do.
it's
Well,
funny,
here's
they're like
the takeaway on that is, stuff like that's temporary and
Right.
it's fun. And, you're not always going to have a race you're getting ready for. So, like I said, you got to find something you like. Like me anymore, I run just to run. I run to clear my mind. It's kind of like I always tell people, it's kind of like mowing your own yard. It's mindless. You just sit out there and you just do it.
That's what golf is for me.
Oh,
I hate when I start golfing with a guy and they say, "So how are we playing the game? And who's keeping score?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna hit the ball. You can
Yeah.
keep score for me if you want. If it makes you feel better at the end of 18
I'm a
holes."
I love to golf. It's one of my favorite things to do. But my favorite thing to do is scramble.
Well,
Yeah,
the best time,
scrambling.
the best way to play golf is with Kyle because you're always under par.
Yeah, that and fireball.
Right? Yeah. No. It's what do we drink? Let me tell you something. This guy is my immune system sucks because at what time I start drinking with this guy on the golf course. But it's we have a blast. So we'd go out Sunday and he'd bring Colton. He'd let me bring Colton, and we watched. You talk about a kid. He's got autism and cerebral palsy, but we watched him from the beginning of the year to the end try to hit a ball. We just said just hit it, and you can just see him get better and better and better.
We've actually used a few of his shots now.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
he's funny. He doesn't understand the rules. So we'll be out there in front of him. If you're in front of him, I'm like, "Hey, Kyle, he's ready to hit the ball."
Coming in hot.
Like,
Yeah, we got kind of cues across the deal, and if we stop everything if he loses a golf ball because man, he gets redder than. I mean,
Drop
he's-
one. Just
he's
drop
ma-
one for him.
well, no,
Yeah,
but
he's
he knows.
madder than a hornet.
So
man.
he knows. So what happens is he reads this golf ball. This is one of the ticks of autism. Like they just know, right? Their memories are phenomenal. And so we lost this ball one time, and so I thought I'll go out and get another ball. Oh, I found it. He goes, "Not ball, Daddy, my ball."
And by the way,
So-
we have him hooked on Bridgestones,
Oh yeah.
so we had to take out a second mortgage.
Yeah,
I was about to say, that's
So, we're all-
expensive enough.
so my wife, this is funny. My wife, Christmas gives them these Star Wars balls, and there's only 3 of them. One of them's they're all 3 characters. And I go, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" I go,
We're gonna need to get another
I mean, I got
5 or 6 dozen of those.
I go, he's gonna want to play with these damn things. They're gonna be over in the woods, and we're gonna be out there for all hours trying to find a ball. But anyway, that's what we do. We go out and have fun like that, and then we just.
So
have
what
a
do,
good
what do
time.
you enjoy? What do you enjoy? What's going to make you work out?
I'm competitive,
Yeah.
so I've got to come up with we got to come up with something competitive. Like I would love to learn how to run 7 miles again. It's going to
Well,
take me a
it's
while.
not really
but-
learning. It's just starting.
Well, I couldn't.
Just walk.
Right.
You just started. Let's just say you started today.
Well, shit. Okay, I got my steps in. I had to stop today in the middle of the tour. I'm like, I'll be with you guys in a minute. I got to stretch. Okay, I had to get to my breath, but
It's a big complex.
but see, I'm 51 years old. I should be in better shape. If you want to be successful in business, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I've got to get. That's a transition.
I'm a firm believer that you'll do
Yeah.
a lot better.
Right. So I've got to get better at that, and plus
But here's the thing: you're humble enough to know to say that, and not just be like, "It's my metabolism." Because
Right.
I have people come to me all the time, and I'm blessed. Don't get me wrong; I'm very blessed to have a good metabolism. But they'll go like, "Man, I wish I had your metabolism." Like, did you run 10 miles yesterday?
Yeah.
Did-
You got to
did
put
you-
you got
did
to
you
put
do
in
that?
you got to put in the time.
So if you do have a good metabolism, or like you have strength, use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I going with my dad getting sick with Alzheimer's and stuff. That's been another stressful thing, right? But you're watching your dad, kind of one of your best friends, he's dying. Really, that's what he's doing. And I'm not trying to make that an excuse, but it's okay. Hey, I got to find the time and say, okay, hey, for these 2 hours or hour, this is what I'm doing. Tell them I've got to do this. They'll support it. Kyle will support it. My wife, everybody,
Yeah.
and I just have to do it. Hold
Here,
myself
do something
accountable.
real quick, Kyle. You got your phone? Get
Yeah.
Get your calculator. I'm gonna show you something. You said you've been sleeping in a little bit.
Yeah.
Do 365 hours and divide that by 24.
15.20.
You wake up an hour early a day for a year, you're going to get 15.2 days back of your life.
Yeah,
That's wild to think.
crazy. That's crazy.
That's wild to think.
Yeah.
So think about it that way. Wake up an hour early, and
Just do it. Just go
Just-
walking.
just do it.
I need to get. I'm gonna call up the guys and go back to the gym. But I've got to get over the fact of I just got to go do it. And when you have that mindset, and then I love to eat. That's the other problem. You know, when I was sitting next to you for those couple of years or whatever, we were eating healthy, really. I mean, you're like, okay, hey, eat this, bring this. But it was more nuts. The snacks. It's the snacks where you gets you in trouble. You're like, hey, why do you have a soda?
Sodas, diet
Yeah,
sodas.
yeah, all that stuff. And that's when I go grab a diet soda or
And
whatever.
hey,
like
man,
that.
that's great to do every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to treat yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
But
with
I
that.
just love a juicy steak.
But
and
hey,
mashed
let's just
potato.
say you started today and do it again
Well,
tomorrow.
I weighed this morning. I weighed 353. I was 359 at the beginning of the
What
week.
time are you waking up in the morning right now?
4, but I'm waking
And
up.
that's sleeping in?
No,
Oh,
my blood pressure's high. Okay, my blood pressure's. They're trying to get it down to the 140s. I've been as high as 200.
yeah.
So what's happened? I'm sick right now, so I can't sleep. I'm sleeping sitting up because I'm draining. So I wake up at 4. I take my blood pressure medicine in the morning right then because what it does is it lowers and I get another 2-3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm waking up like this morning, sleeping in. I woke up at 7. Like I was like, oh, well, we got the podcast. So I started.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go. I mean, that's late. For
I was
me.
up at 4 because this podcast.
Yeah. But it.
And
I
that
think
was-
I got up.
And that was nerves.
Yeah.
You want to hear my routine in the morning? I mean, do you even
Yeah.
care? But I'll tell you.
Yeah.
What I do is I'll wake up. I get up about now. I get up about 4:30. I wake my. I've got a 3.5-month-old. I'll feed him, put him back down. Emails, get all that knocked out. I get more done before 7 a.m. than
Yeah.
you don't get the phone calls, you don't get the interruptions. Get in the shower. I fast. I'll end up fasting until about 10 o'clock. But get in the shower, take cold shower, ice cold shower for about 4 minutes. Kind of like cold plunge, but I don't have the cold plunge. If I do have an opportunity to cold plunge, I do that. That'll be really good as far
Cold
as
punch is what?
cold water.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't do the little people hop in those tubs or whatever.
I don't have one.
Mm.
So if I do, I mean, I've done them plenty.
You'll be able to do that at the spa tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah, exactly.
Shock therapy.
I've done it plenty of times as far as having access to them, but I don't have one at the house, which I'll have one eventually because wife wants to get a sauna and I'll put a cold plunge next to it and you kind of cycle them in and out. But get up first thing I forgot to tell you is, and this ain't medical advice at all. This is just something that works for me.
Right.
It works for you, great. I wake up, put a little bit of a teaspoon of. A lot of people use Himalayan salt. I use Celtic salt. There's a lot of stuff going on with Himalayan salt. That's another story. But I use Celtic salt, and then I do a tablespoon of lemon, and I put it in water. Drink it. Got to give yourself about an extra 30 minutes, not to get graphic on this deal, but you're going to clean yourself out. And then about 10 o'clock, I'll go ahead and eat something fast. You'll end up fasting about 13 hours if you quit, 6 or 7 the night before.
Right.
And go to the gym about 10, something like that.
So you run every day, or do you?
Not every day. I mean, if I had a choice, I would. If I was more disciplined, I would wake up at 4 and go run before I feed my son. But I mean, having a newborn, this is just an excuse. But having a newborn, it's a little bit tough.
Sure.
I value
Changes
sleep a
your
little
hours,
bit more.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of on
But
his,
no,
you're kind
but
of on
no.
his schedule.
Today, I'll probably end up running because we did this podcast and I'll miss the gym.
Right.
But we leave here, I'll probably go for a run. Yeah. But like I said, I enjoy it.
Right.
It's not discipline.
Well, it's kind of. I remember running though. You're by yourself and you're thinking or you're listening to something.
You
kind
come up with car deals. And
right.
how to put
I
car.
remember doing that.
Yeah.
Of course, I was last. I was looking at everybody going, "Well, I'm not going to catch them."
Well, hey, here's the thing, dude. I ran cross country in high school. I ran with guys. I was in Northwest Arkansas, and University of Arkansas is well known for cross country.
Yeah.
And I was in the upper, right around 5-minute mile. I thought I was a stud. We had guys in my high school ran 402s, 403s.
Yeah.
Went on, got NCAA championship rings for cross
Yeah.
country. I went in the military.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to,
Yeah.
get some money for college, and then, but I mean, it didn't stop me from enjoying it.
Right.
You don't have to be at the best of something to enjoy
Right.
it.
I like to bike. They used to joke at me on the gym because, they're like, okay, you got to burn 10 calories on the bike. I can do it in 7 seconds.
Yeah. See, long time on the bike for me. It hurts. I've got no cushion down there, so it kills me. That's why I couldn't do a triathlon.
Right.
Plus, around here, man, some of these drivers on bikes,
Oh yeah.
it's dangerous. So.
No, they don't do the Tough Mudders and stuff anymore, do they? Didn't
No, they
Cole-
do. They've got them.
Yeah. I might have to join that again. Say, okay, hey, the 50 and over club. So I don't know if there's a guy by the name of Steve Cox. I don't know if who he is. He was one of he swam for Drury years ago when I was a kid. So you're talking 30, 40 years ago. And he did he got into CrossFit and stuff. He's older and stuff, but he competed at the older level of CrossFit and did pretty well with that.
Mhm.
So, but he's a great guy too. So,
So what do you guys got going on next week? You got a big cedar, so you're going to finish
We're
that
doing a
up,
big
and
cedar
then
today and tomorrow and Sunday, and then we're going to finish the month. We got several deals that are just waiting to deliver
how many did you end up selling last month?
in the 20s.
That's good, man.
So we should beat that this month.
And like I told you last night, it's all for you.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's kind of funny because, when we've been putting a pencil to this thing for years, and I'm like, I keep putting a pencil to it, and everybody's like, it's not going to work. You can't do it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Well, when you keep, like you said, it's all ours, right? And you have a good partner and somebody kind of has the same vision, it's going to
The
work.
success is yours, the failure is yours.
Yeah,
So.
and it's we're ahead of where we thought we would be.
Mhm.
We're proud of all. We're very humble with the fact of guys like you and friends and stuff that are just out there helping us, coming by.
Supporting the idea.
I mean, it's just
yeah.
unreal. I mean, it's just that you get phone call.
Well, here's the thing: good people like success. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people out there are saying, "Man, I really get off on other people's success," and deep down they're jealous. And that's a natural sensation, you know.
Sure.
As far as I'm sure you got some guys that where you used to work that are jealous of y'all right now, and that's just a natural inclination. But
Well, and,
I mean,
and vice versa. You spent 25 years on that side of the business.
Mhm.
We hired all these kids, right? We hired these guys. You don't want them to fail.
No.
And I've had multiple phone calls where I'm like, "Hey guys,
Man, this week
I
we've
mean-
had a bunch of people stop by the store that were guys that we train that are in different. They're not in the car business
Right.
anymore. But man, that's kind of encouraging. We were getting ready to leave, and two guys,
yeah."
I'd like to
Shut up.
see big dealerships start doing things like this. You know.
Well, they should.
But there's a lot more risk there. They can't, you got to watch what you say. You can't candidly talk.
Well, but-
like when you work for yourself, if you mess up and you get canceled or you say something stupid that you don't genuinely mean by your heart, but you say something, there's liability with a publicly traded company. So I mean,
Yeah, and I think though, but you can still.
Budweiser.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different deal there. But that's not taking
Yingling
care of
went
people.
up.
That's a commercial. That was a commercial, but you know what? You can still take care of people in a publicly traded company better than what they're
I'm
doing.
talking podcast.
Yeah, all right. But I mean, if they would, but I'm talking about they could do it and care about their employees. If the employees were kind of really bought into what the vision is,
Yes.
you won't have a problem. And I think what happens at those big stores, they forget the vision and they forget it's about
Well, stepping away from it, what I've kind of noticed is, and I look back, you're chasing a quarter.
yeah.
You're chasing 3 months for anybody, because, we got to do this quarter. We got to do this instead of having a bigger vision of what's my yearly goal.
Right.
It's, oh man, we've got to hit this goal in 3 months, and you're grinding, and you don't have time to be an entrepreneur and grow and try things and
Right.
fail. And it's doing the same stuff over
over and over again.
Man, and he's keyed on one aspect that I didn't care for is that I'm a goal setter. All three of us are goal setters, right? But we sit down in the first of the year and make a yearly goal.
Right.
Okay. There are things we want to accomplish throughout the year and certain time frames, but getting it done for that year. And when you're in that segment and like he's telling, car business is 30-day business, right?
Right.
And
Well,
it's easy to get slumped.
It
and
is in a
stuff.
manufacturer. It's not for us.
Right.
That changed. I didn't realize we don't have to close every month. It is independent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the manufacturers determine that. They want to know where they're at, what their goals are. Their incentives are monthly. You know what I'm saying? So
And
that's what.
I think these quarterly and 30-day closes and stuff put enough pressure on, the GMs, the GSMs, and it kind of just has this trickle effect. And then you're putting pressure on your sales guys, right, to hit this monthly objective. Man, there's no business out there that doesn't have a bad month every once in a while.
But there's guys out there that are hyper successful under that
Right.
platform. I've got really good buddies that I talk to on a regular basis that net profit over $4 million a month net in
That's
the car
insane.
business.
That's insane.
But I mean, we're humble enough to say, that just wasn't for me. I wasn't the
I
best.
couldn't work in a big city 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
Want to be married, and
Yeah. I just couldn't do it.
it's a tough deal. But there's guys that do it. It's
Yeah.
just you got to find your niche and find what fits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody has something that works for them. Here's the thing though. Berkshire Hathaway, Van Tile, we wouldn't be sitting here in front of you today without some of they've got the best training and
Well, let's just be
top-notch
honest.
guys.
Van Tiles and Berkshire, they're the reason. They're the reason I have my house. The reason I have my kid.
You're right.
You know, the car business is. You know, of course, we could say it was us and we worked hard, and yeah, we worked hard. But I mean, they also gave us the opportunity.
Well, I think they gave us the leaders.
Yeah, great leaders.
Your dad.
Oh yeah.
Some other the leaders that sat and would kick us in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
If we, but they also want us to be successful. They gave us opportunities.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where you're going to expand. But the beautiful part about what you're doing is things like this. Is you're able to do things that are a little quirky, a little different. And like I just said, that person from California is going to come to Springfield, not know anybody, but saw your TikTok and is like, oh yeah, Springfield Auto Parlor, yeah. I'll give them a call real quick. Then they go to your lot, and it's not this big grand OS thing, and they're like, I like this.
Who's that guy running? That's the Walrus.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're going to be called. I mean, that's branding.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see you out at Millwood running beside Nate or running behind Nate with your shirt off.
Well, actually,
Oh God.
I'm gonna get you a pair of
You know
gold
what? I'm gonna wear my shirt from now on. You guys give me a complex.
No, we like it, man. It inspires us.
I remember I ran into the bar with it. You guys, because I knew you were in there drinking.
I'm like, what are you doing, Nate?
I said, give me a shot.
He has a little
Who was the
armband
shirtless
thing
guy?
on. That's all he had.
It was the shirtless Moore guy. Wasn't there a guy that was mowed shirtless?
I know his name, but let's not.
I
say
know that, but that's where it came from. Like, but if I had a body like that, I'd have my right now.
I don't have I get hot.
You are hot. Though.
And
Look
here's
at you. I mean,
whatever.
you dressed like
and then you got vitamin D up in the sky. You got it.
Yeah. Me, I'd be like going, "What's that jiggle?" That's my breasts.
You know that's getting cut. Put on TikTok, right? We got our boy
There's
over
a
here.
short for you.
100%. I don't care. I mean, I'm having fun.
But hey, we got to save some stuff for next time.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But no, seriously, just the kind of end. I really appreciate y'all doing this at Silverleaf and bringing attention to Silverleaf. And and one thing I was going to mention as far as about podcasts is I geek out on numbers. I geek out on real estate. I geek out on different things, and I do love podcasts. I think that I could see myself maybe doing one in the future. And 99.
I think you got a great idea for one.
Well, let's not talk about it. But 99% of people that do podcasts, they quit before the third one,
Right.
Because they're worried about followers, they're worried about views. And something I heard Joe Rogan say was that I think he said it was like 100 to 150 until he started getting viewership. So and this stuff lives forever. You might have there's guys on TikTok. They're like let's say today they get 10 million views. They're like, I shot that thing 2 years ago.
Right.
All of a sudden it just became popular. So don't think that what you're doing is not getting seen. It maybe not today,
Right.
but you're sharpening your axe.
Right.
We just like doing it so we can talk to a broad audience, and we know we've got some people out there like to listen to this stuff. And
Right.
I think for me, it's just able to introduce my friends, people that help me out along the way, and encourage other people to kind of find that circle, that niche, and go after what you want, man.
Yeah, go after your dreams.
Just go after your dreams.
Somebody told me one time, a dream's a dream. I said, well, a dream's a dream, and then you have to act on it, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people won't act on it, and you gotta take that risk.
Well, and you say act. I'm getting a little floofy on you, but manifestation. That's kind of what acting is.
Right.
And, something I heard the other day as far as I'm a big TikTok guy. It's funny because my buddies at the gym like, you always send me these TikToks at midnight or my algorithm's pretty educational and I like it. Some of it's kind of weird, but for the most part, it's real estate, it's educational things. And there was this gentleman, he was talking, he was like, when you're manifesting, you got to kind of act like, let's say you won the lottery and you got $10 million and you walked a check to the bank, and you guys might have heard this, and you walked a check to the bank and it's $10 million and you give it to the bank and they say, that's great, but it's going to take 10 days to clear. So you walk out of the bank, what do? You act like you got $10 million. You're being nice to people. You're being charitable. Can I do this for you? You're a 10 millionaire. Well, that's what manifesting is.
Right.
And not necessarily 10 days from now, but whatever you want, you need to act like you got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the cliche thing they say is, if you're a jerk at $1, you're an asshole at 20 million. You know what I'm saying? Right. So act how if you're going to be charitable, you be charitable now. If you're going to do this, whatever you want to be, you need to start acting that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Act as if it's so.
Right. 100%.
Yep.
Well, this is a good time, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thanks for having us out here. And
anybody ever wants to come by, I don't care, stranger or not, DM these guys. That wants to see Silverleaf, wants to have a cup.
What-
I'm not a
what-
big coffee guy. Everybody wants to have a cup of coffee. Let's go play some golf or go to the gym or go for.
We'll have Brecken here walk around with some of us with your.
I think Brecken needs to be on the podcast. He's a sharp kid.
Yeah, we've had him on there.
I'd
Did we
be
have you on
okay.
there?
No,
Behind the scenes.
I was saying, man, I'm kind of a stalker, dude. You don't see me, but I watch you guys, and I haven't seen Brecken.
All right, we're putting you on there.
Right.
Yeah, I think he'd be great. How old is he?
21.
21. He's
21.
got a bright man. Me at 21.
Uh,
that was,
no, I
that
didn't-
was a mess.
I had hair like that though.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
No, I don't have
well,
it.
that's kind of how him and I connected on how.
Was the
yeah,
hair?
well, no, just our overall stature, how we looked when I was his age
Oh.
and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
Tall, lanky.
yeah,
In
blonde.
shape.
Well,
blonde
and for
hair,
Brecken
shape.
too is I think he's got a bright
Dude,
future.
He's got dimples, man. How many guys have dimples? I
Well,
mean,
here's the thing he's noticing. He's noticing a trend,
right.
and he stepped away. He took his cojones and came and do something like this to where he's going to be filming people's podcasts, doing content. It's not going to just be y'all's. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think he's
Right.
going to do it.
We're his agent, though.
Oh, are you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm your agent.
Find a new agent.
He just found out.
Right.
Don't sign that contract long term.
Right.
So
Right. They even didn't we mention Don King to him? He's like, "Who's that?
yeah, we're not gonna Don King you or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Don King?"
But it is a man. It's you can get wrapped up with the wrong guys sometimes. So we'll look after our boy here
So how often do you guys do these? When's the next one?
once a week.
Well, we'll do another one next week. We'll probably do it Thursday or Friday. So
Cool.
we're actually creating a podcast room in the garage over there.
Cool.
Be done probably in about 45 days.
If I'm
Yeah.
available anytime you
Yeah,
need
we'll
to
have you on
co-host,
there.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah.
We're happy. We're gonna be happy. That's gonna be such a great thing, and that's actually Brecken's artwork. So I can't wait to show it off.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get. He probably is more excited about putting that thing together and us showing it in there than him actually being on a podcast. So
He told me, hey, I didn't look at the camera this time. You know that, right? Not once.
Oh, I honestly forgot about. That's the best thing to do is
I
just
know.
forget about it.
Right.
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, you got about 20 grand worth of cameras in here.
Right. And don't make fun of my boobies.